Most people are sleeping on the most powerful feature inside the Jupiter app. It's called Jupiter Lend, and in all honesty, it changes everything. For years, DeFi has been a mess. Stressful liquidations, clunky vaults, and rules that make zero sense unless you're a hardcore degen. But with Jupiter Lend, it finally feels simple. You could borrow against your crypto without feeling like you're about to get wrecked. Or just drop a token in and let Jupiter maximize your yield while you sleep. Let me show you why this is such a game changer and how you could start using it today. And again, my name is Dunk. I help you make passive income with DeFi. I don't want to trade my time for money, and I don't want you to either. And if you do like these videos, make sure that you like, subscribe, and ring the bell so you get notified every time that I drop another money-making video for you. All right, let's get into it. There are a lot of different platforms that already exist that allow you to lend out your crypto and then use it as collateral to borrow back against it. Now, there are a couple of reasons why you might want to just lend out your crypto. You might want to just earn interest. You might want to borrow against it so you can take advantage of another opportunity. Or hey, maybe you want to pay a bill. But all of these opportunities are now built directly into Jupiter, and Jupiter is quickly becoming one of the best platforms to do everything in one place. When you go to Jupiter at jupe.ag, you could do stuff like swap your tokens, you could do trigger orders, which are like limit orders, recurring orders, you could send. They have a pro panel right here where it shows all the different tokens that are coming out, Cooking, Launchpad, Alpha Scan, stocks even, and so much more. They also have perps, which hit agree, make sure that you understand perps, and you are basically betting on the direction the market is going to be going. And you could be going up and down, up and down. I actually use a free GPT called Stacker Agent GPT, and I will put a link to that in the description of this video. And it actually helps me find when there's going to be reversals so I can place perp orders and be more likely to exit in profit. Again, just a reminder, none of this is financial advice. I'm just sharing what I do. There's also Portfolio tab, which they have a great portfolio, and you can go to the More tab and see all sorts of other features that are here on Jupiter. And the one we're going to talk about today is the Lend tab right here, and it's currently in beta. So I'm going to click that, and we see there are 4 tabs along the top. There's Earn, Borrow, Multiply, and Statistics. If you come down to the bottom, it does have a couple frequently asked questions. I recommend that you look over these just so you have a better understanding. What is Jupiter Lend? Jupiter Lend is a Jupiter decentralized finance platform for lending and borrowing crypto. It allows you to use your assets in 2 different ways. There is Earn. You can deposit your crypto to lend out to others and earn passive interest. So this is just you lending out that crypto. The next one is Borrow. You can use the asset you've deposited it as collateral to take out a loan, basically meaning that you're going to be able to borrow against the crypto that you have. So maybe you have Solana, you deposit it, and you could borrow USDC and go and do whatever you need to do with USDC. And you don't have to sell the Solana to do it. With Solana, I see it as an appreciating asset, an asset that's going up in value. Now I could borrow against that appreciating asset without having to sell and lose the opportunity of the price going up. Jupiter Lend is designed to automatically find the best interest rates for you, whether you're earning or borrowing. And this is the really cool part because it means that it's going to find the best interest rate instead of you just being locked into one pool that you just jumped into. Like I said, there's different tabs up here: Earn, Borrow, Multiply, and Statistics. First, let's go over the Earn tab. And how it works is safely deposit funds into the Jupiter Lend liquidity layer, automatically earning the best yield available. And this is an important thing. Assets deposited in the Earn cannot be used as collateral to borrow against. So that's the other tab, Borrow, but we'll get into that in a second. Now, I have 2 examples that I just set up so you can see exactly how it works. Say you want to lend out your USDC. Right now, it's giving you 2.27% on your lending, and there's an incentive. You could think of this kind of like how you have a liquidity pool and somebody might give you an incentive in order to provide liquidity in that pool. Well, here they are providing an incentive in order for you to lend out your USDC in the form of an additional 6.72%. And what I find is that both of those numbers do fluctuate. I've seen everything from a combined 5% all the way up to like 15% so far. So it fluctuates. It's not a consistent APY. But what it does do is it does compound it, which is really cool because compound interest can really help you actually earn a higher APY overall. If you want to add or remove your USDC, you just come over here to this little arrow on the side, you click it and it brings up this pop-up, and you can see I've earned a fraction of a penny so far because I only put in $5, but I put 5 USDC in, and you would do that right here by saying something like 5 USDC. If I was going to withdraw right now, see, I hit 5, it's actually 5 and change. It's more than the 5 USDC that I deposited. And all what I would do here is hit withdraw. We got our pop-up, confirm transaction, and it is going to remove the token that it puts into your wallet and then give you back the USDC. But I'm not going to withdraw right now. I'm going to deposit a little bit more just to show you how it works. So I'm going to deposit 5 more USDC, and I'm under the deposit tab. I wrote 5 for USDC. You check your APY that you're going to be getting from that, and then hit deposit. Now it is going to mint a Jupiter Lend USDC token right here. Do not ever move these out of your wallet. Just leave them in the wallet that they're added to. You will need these in order to withdraw, as you saw that it removes those when you withdraw. I'm just going to verify everything. It's signing with jupe.ag. Always verify you are signing with the right website. I'm going to get the Jupe Lend USDC, USDC coin, Solana. There we go. Now I'm going to hit confirm, and it's going to deposit 5 USDC into that pool. We see right here, it minted 5 Jupiter Lend USDC, and we could check out the transaction right here. All verified on the blockchain. Now I am earning interest on that additional 5 USDC immediately. And again, the rewards are directly accumulated into my deposit. And this is great because I love compound interest. Again, this is that warning that I talked about. Important. Do not burn, trade, or transfer your tokens, or you will not be able to withdraw your position. You need these tokens in order to withdraw your position. They are your key. All right, now I'm going to click off. And I can see now I have 10 USDC that I deposited. And if I wanted to withdraw, it still is just a hair over 10. And now it's going to compound a little bit faster. I could see my total earned from this pool right here, which again is still just a fraction of a penny. I also did a small test with Solana. You can see they don't have an additional reward for Solana right now, so it's not going to actually be as high of a yield, but Solana is an appreciating asset and is more likely to go up in value than some other assets, especially a stable coin. But just like USDC, I can click here and I can see that I've started to earn a little bit of Solana. I am earning it in the token that I deposited, and if I wanted to add more, I could add it here, or if I want to withdraw, I put in 0.01 Solana as my test, and now I could take out a little bit more than 0.01 Solana. This is a really easy way that you could earn interest on any of these cryptos that they have right here. They have USDC, Solana, USDT, EuroC, USDG, and USDS right now, but they've already said that they are going to be adding more and more to this tab. But this is a great start. If you have crypto just sitting around, see we have a projected annual yield, you could just go ahead and just deposit it in here and let it earn interest. And when you need it, just grab it back out and put it to work. Quickly take a look at this right here. It says, what's the difference between earning and borrowing? Earning and borrowing are two sides of the same system. The earn section, which is what we just went over, is the section for users who want to supply assets and earn interest, is what I was just showing you, earning interest on your crypto. The borrow section is for users who want to use their supplied asset as collateral to take out a loan. So you put your crypto to work even without selling it. So let's go ahead and go over to the borrow tab so we can get a better idea of how to use it. The borrow tab is filled with a bunch of different crypto pairs. I like this one because I could take Solana and then borrow USDC against it, because maybe I'm holding Solana and I need to pay a bill. I could then take my Solana and borrow USDC against it while Solana is still going up in value. Then I can go and send that USDC to something like my KAST card at mydeficard.com, and then I can spend that without selling my crypto. Let's break this down with this example right here, Solana to USDC. We have an LTV of 75% and 80% liquidation threshold. There's a supply rate, meaning when I'm lending out my Solana, I'm actually earning about 11.1% to lend out this Solana in this pool. Now, this is cool because it means that I'm actually earning a higher interest rate than what it's going to take to borrow. So look at this, borrow rate to borrow USDC is 3.3%. So it's going to cost me 3.3% to borrow the USDC. but it's going to give me 11.1% in order to lend out the Solana. So we are actually still roughly earning 8% APY, even though we are borrowing against it. Again, there are a whole bunch of different pairs, and they are going to be adding more and more. I'm looking forward to some of them being added here in the future. Again, this is isolated and different than the Earn tab. Borrow lets you take loans out against your crypto. Vaults are isolated, meaning that there is one vault for each supply and borrow token pair, meaning one vault, Solana, USDC, that's one vault. Your deposit will immediately start earning yield, and you'll pay interest for borrowing. So you'll immediately start earning this yield, and then you'll immediately start paying this interest. And again, there are risks in this. Always do your own research. I'm not a financial advisor, but part of your collateral may be liquidated if your loan reaches the liquidation threshold. Now let's click on this little arrow to learn a little bit more. We have two different tabs here. We have the deposit, supplying collateral, and then borrowing debt. Let's go ahead and do a quick example. I'm going to go over here to the supply collateral, and we're going to click on deposit, and I'm going to deposit a little bit of Solana. I'm just going to do 0.05 as an example, which is about $10 in USD. Now, this is a fairly safe example, but I'm going to go ahead and hit deposit. Like always, we are going to get a pop-up to confirm this transaction. If you are doing this through the Jupiter mobile app, these pop-ups will not come up and it will be automatic, but that is only through the Jupiter mobile app and not through something like Phantom. Now, again, it is going to give me a token, it says unknown, and it's going to take my Solana. Never mess with any of the tokens it deposits into your wallet. Those are going to be needed to withdraw your position. I'm verifying I am signing with the right website, jupe.ag, and there's a very small Solana network fee, and I'm going to hit confirm. It minted the NFT that is going to be the symbol of this transaction, and I could verify it on the blockchain right here on SolScan. Again, do not mess with those. Do not touch those. Just leave them sitting in your wallet. Now I have my Solana deposited, and if I wanted to borrow USDC, we could take a look at this wallet. There is 0 USDC in this wallet right now, and I can click borrow, and I could borrow USDC. Now, all that I need to do is go to this bottom scroll right here and scroll up until I actually hit the amount that I want to borrow. Scroll up, up, up. You see, it starts to get a little bit more risky once you pass 50%. Look, we're getting 5, 6, 7. Look, right, it's a little more risky now. It'll give you a little bit more information at the bottom right here about the risks. When I am in the safe zone, it says if SOL reaches $132, and right now SOL is sitting at about $212. So if SOL hit $132.68, which means that it would have to drop by 37.35%, your position may be partially liquidated. And partially liquidated is a really cool thing because a lot of those other platforms, they'll liquidate a huge percentage, while Jupiter Lend only liquidates about 0.01, which is about 100x less than what the other platforms are liquidating when it hits a liquidation point. Well, let's just go ahead and scroll a little bit further, see how far we can go. It's getting a little bit more risky. So here we are, 68%, Solana 180. I saw Solana come close to that the other day, but that's why you kind of need to keep an eye on this. Make sure that you don't hit that liquidation point. But if we go all the way up to 75%, it'd be 197. That's a little bit more risky because I did see Solana just within the last day hit this point. So it could very likely that it will hit it again. I would say that that's very, very risky. But if we want to be safe, look, I'm right here on 50%, and I could borrow half of what I deposited and not ever even have to sell the Solana. So if Solana starts going up, hits 300 bucks, I never sold it, and my buying power or my borrowing power goes up. Let's go ahead and borrow half of the USDC that I could borrow from the Solana that I have as collateral. So I'm going to hit borrow. Again, we got a pop-up. It says jupe.ag. That's what I'm signing with. And this is the USDC that's going to be deposited into my wallet, 5.2745 USDC. And there's a small gas fee, like always, and I'm going to hit confirm. And done. And if you want to see the transaction, you can always come right here to the bottom, click it, and it will open it up on SolScan and show that I took Jupiter Lend Vault and it deposited the USDC. And now we can come back to our terminal. Shows that I am lending out the Solana, 11.1% that I'm earning on lending out the Solana, and 3.3% it's costing me to borrow it back. In this example, I am kind of sacrificing half the value of my Solana. I could have gone up to 75%, and this is just going to keep on getting better. Jupiter has said that they are going to be getting that up to 95% and keeping it stable, which is a game changer in this industry, giving you access to 95% of your liquidity without selling any of your assets. I could use this, I could spend this, I could send this to my KAST card or send it to Coinbase and turn it into dollars and spend it. You could also borrow other currencies besides USDC if you're not trying to send things into a stable coin. This is a really good way for you to access your funds without ever selling your crypto. So if you're going to undo this, it's really simple. Just hit repay and you just unravel it the same way. You'd add your USDC back here, hit repay, and it would remove it from your wallet. And then you could also just remove by withdrawal, withdraw your liquidity here, and then go back into your wallet. And again, I just used the Solana USDC example, but there are so many other tokens that are here available to lend out and borrow against on Jupiter Lend. There are 2 more tabs here. One is called Multiply, and Multiply is really cool because it actually creates something called a loopable position. So Multiply enables you to easily leverage exposure and amplify your yield on your assets. When you open up a position, assets are borrowed against your collateral and converted back into the collateral asset until your desired leverage is achieved. Just keep in mind that this, again, it drastically increases your risk. So the idea is you take an asset that's earning a higher interest rate. Like in this example right here at the top is a great loop. JLP gets loaned out and you acquire USDC with it, and then that acquires JLP, and then it acquires more USDC. And because JLP is earning 18.5% and it's only costing 3.3 to borrow the USDC, it creates a loop. And the more times that you leverage this, obviously the heavier the risk goes. But right here, just in this example, I can get up to 83.43% just looping my liquidity. But again, it increases the risk. And finally, we have our statistics tab. It gives you all the information about these different pools. We have our liquidity. It's a very new platform, so this is very new data. As this grows, that's going to become an even more valuable tab. Look under borrow, see all the different info on these different pools. And then we also have earn, which this still shows that it's coming soon, but they are still working on it. Remember, this is in a beta phase. If you've been enjoying learning with me, go ahead and head to DeFiEarner.com. It's where I drop a whole bunch of free information, as well as where you could join my newsletter and learn how I'm earning passive income with DeFi. I'm tired of trading my time for money, so I'm using DeFi to buy back my time, and I want to show you how to as well. Jupiter has become my favorite platform for all things Solana. And now with Jupiter Lend, this really does elevate the platform to really fill a gap that I needed filled. I no longer have to go to other platforms to lend out my crypto. Some of them aren't even available in the country that I'm in, which this opens up so many doors. If you have any questions about Jupiter, Jup Lend, or anything else in DeFi, or how I am making money in DeFi, drop in the comments. Keep creating, keep earning passive income with DeFi, and I will see you in the next video.